Hello friends, welcome. So today I have a sweet little card, and it is a spinner card. Our little bumblebee in here is on a piece of thread, and if you twist him he will spin when he's opened. And it's also what I like to call a table tent card. So it works like this. It goes down flat for in your envelope, and then it opens up, and a person can sit it easily and enjoy it for time to come. So let's take a look at what I used to make this card. This is a fairly new set that came out, I don't know, maybe 3 releases ago, maybe 4. And it is called Bee You-tiful. And I love the little bees in there. And it comes, you can purchase a die set if you'd like. Then I'm using the sprinkled scalloped rectangle dies. I'm also using the Busy Bee paper pad, and specifically this one with a fun daisy print. And I'm also using this stencil, and let's see what exactly, it's called the Honeycomb Drips. And we are going to use both sections of this stencil. In addition to our Whimsy products, we're going to need a little bit of thread, and I'll be using some white thread. I'll be coloring with some Copics, and I have 2 colors of ink to create a honey look. So I'm really any 2 colors that you like, in the yellow to orange to light browns that create the honey color that you would like. So, okay. We will need 2 pieces of paper. This one is cut to 4 1/4, I believe, by 11, but let me measure it to make sure. Does that say, no, is that by 10? I may have cut it to the wrong size, so let's just wait. Yeah, it should be 11. So I think I had a piece cut to that, but I might have used it for something else, thinking that piece was the piece I needed. So I've got another one here. We're going to go ahead and cut it to what we need. So we do need it to be 4 1/4 by 11. Sure glad I measured that. That would have messed things up. All right, there we go. And this is going to need to be a top folding card. There we go. Now it's 2:11. Now we also need a second little piece that is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and score these. Our big one here, we're just turning into a top folding A2 card. So we're going to score this at 5 1/2. And this will be our card base. And then this is going to be our mechanism to make our, to turn into a table tent. So what we're going to do is we're going to score it at 1/4 inch. Turn it. Score it at 1/4 inch. Oops. And then we're going to score it at 1 1/4. So for this one, you're going to, I'm going to need that. We're going to go ahead and fold both of the little 1/4 inch pieces. We're going to fold those towards us. Or up, or however you want to describe that. And then the middle piece, we're going to fold down. So in the end, you have something that looks like this. Okay. Let me go ahead and burnish that section. All right. Okay. So you'll have something that looks like that, and we're going to set this aside. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is our patterned paper. We're going to cut that down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we're going to do some die cutting. We're going to get the largest scalloped sprinkled you know the one I mean. sprinkled scalloped frame from our set. We're going to go ahead and use the largest one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to die cut that. Now we're going to want to take our card, and what is going to be our front, we're going to open it up. All right. And we're going to add glue just around the outer edges, and we're going to glue that centered onto our card front. And there we go. I'm going to center that just right here. All right, now the next part that we're going to do is we're going to die cut this again to create our aperture on the front of our card. So we're going to get the other sprinkled scalloped piece that's inside, and we are going to die cut that one. Oops. From the front of our card. And try to center it as best that you can. Right there. In fact, I may go just a tad high with it, but as centered as best you can. Okay? Either way. All right. Now, when we run this through the machine, you're going to run it flat like this. Don't fold it. Leave it flat like this and run this part through your machine. Hopefully this cut well. Did it go all the way? Yeah, I think I got it. Alright, let's see. Did it get it all? Yay, it did. Okay. So this is what you should have so far. We're going to go ahead and set these two pieces aside. We don't need those. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some ink blending. So I've got my two color inks, and I've got two brushes that I'm going to use. And let's see. I have a board that I've already used for this. And what we're going to do, lay your card down. We're going to open it up so that our decorative part is on the top. And now I'm going to take a piece of masking paper, and this is just what do they call it, minty, a piece of minty, but any kind of masking, and we're going to mask off the top edge so that that's masked off. Okay, so we're going to be working on this section right here. Oh, and you know what? I did it again. When I did this the first time, I did the exact same thing. So I am a creature of habit. So I'll have to take that minty tape off because I forgot to do something. All right, no problem. Just going to pull that like this. Okay, we want to test. We want to lay our stencil on here and pull it down so that we can see these drips through our aperture. We don't want to do it too high to where you can't see them. Okay, so position it, and you can move it around and put your drips where you would like them to be. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And I think about right here is good. Okay, so now that I have it like this, I'm going to go ahead and tape my stencil down to my board. I thought I had another piece of tape over here. Yep. Okay, now, well, put it back in place. I moved it. Good. Now I'm going to open it up, and I'll have to tape this down again. And that's also going to hold your card in place for you. All right, so now I've got my two colors. I'm going to start with the lighter of my two. One more thing. I don't want this yet. Eventually I'm going to add that, but for now I'm going to cover up the honeycomb down here. I'm just doing the drips. Okay. So right now I'm just putting this gorgeous honey color, and this is called Shea Butter. I can't talk today. There we go. And we're just going to ink blend that right up. And I should have a second color. Where is it? Hold on 1 second. I thought I had 3 colors, but I guess we'll just go with 2 because I don't remember what the other one was, but that's okay. Okay, we'll just take this Shea Butter on up, put it on a little heavier. Maybe I did just use 2. I'm getting confused on my cards. Okay, next one, I'm going to use the amber color, and it's a much darker color. I'm going to tap off a bit right there, and now I'm just going to bring that color down to meet the Shea Butter. You know what? There's a color called honeycomb, and that is what I'm missing. And I am so sorry. I can't believe that I didn't have that. Oh, right there it is. I knew I was missing one. I'm like, that's too big of a difference. Okay, we're going to go and blend that together with some of the honeycomb. There we go. That's the color we were missing. That'll bring those two together. Perfect. That's the one. Okay. All right, so I had 3 colors: Shea Butter, honeycomb, and amber. Okay, so now I'm going to pull that off, and we're going to reposition our stencil. So that my top edge of my honeycombs are just right about there where the drips start coming down. And you want the bottoms to be, you don't want the bottom of this to be like up here in the middle where you're going to see it through the aperture. Like looking through the aperture, you want to see all honeycomb on that lower portion. All right, now I'm just going to come in with this amber, and we're going to add some of that all around the edges. I didn't add any more ink. I'm just using what was on my brush. And now the lighter brush, I'm going to come in and blend out the middle of that. I'm being kind of soft right up here on this edge so that I don't get real harsh line. Kind of want that to kind of just blend right in. Add a little more of this dark over here on the edge. You're not going to see a lot of it. So. All right. There's our beautiful inside. So I'm going to set that aside to clean later. I'm just going to come back with a little of this and just add, so I don't have any harsh white up there, but not really changing it any. Okay. So this is what we have so far. Ooh, it's looking nice. Okay. ahead and set all of this aside. Done with the ink blending. So glad I found that other color. Sorry, I didn't have that together. Okay, the next thing we want to do is a little bit of coloring. And I had such a fun time finding these honeycomb colors to work with. So I wanted to show you how I did this. I started with the YR21, then the YR31, and then the YR30. So starting with my darkest, I just traced my little bumblebee on the outer edge all the way around. Then I came with the Y31 and added to that. And then for my final color, this lightest YR30, I just colored and blended that all together. And that gave him a nice glow kind of in the middle. My final one was the bee with the 4 zeros, and I just flicked out on his wings. Right, just like that. And that is how I did the bumblebee. I did come back with a black marker, and I just traced his little stripes and colored them in to make sure that they were good and dark. I also colored in his eyes and his other stripes. Oops, and I did that on all of them. Now, for my flowers, I started with the YR24 and made a nice scoop right down here in the center of the flower. Then I took the YR21, filled in the scoop going a little above it, and then came back with my last color, the YR31, and topped it off. And that's how I colored those. For my leaves, I used the YG with 4 zeros, and I just put a flick of green. I didn't want to introduce another color into my card, but I thought they needed something. And then the CW, I traced all the petals of the flowers with this C0. Can't speak. There we go. And that is how I colored the images for this card. And when I was done, I went ahead and die cut all of those. For the word honey, I use my YR24 and then the YR21 to do the 2 different sections there. And here are all of our bees. You will need 2 of this bee and then 1 of each of these. If I can get him out of here. There we go. You'll need 3 of the daisies, 1 of the word honey, and then I just stamped your sweet as, but I did not die cut them. And this is where we're going to need our white thread. So I'm just pulling out a piece of that white thread. Oops. And you just need it to be long enough to go from the top to the bottom of your card. And maybe just a little bit of hangover so that you can have some wiggle room. Okay, so I know this thread is going to be hard for you to see, so I'm just going to show you. And I made it so that it was longer than 5.5 inches. And the first thing I'm going to do is attach that thread to the top right up here. And I'm going to do that using some double-sided adhesive. Okay, the like score tape. And I have some. I'm not going to take the paper off of it. I'm going to leave the paper on it. And I'm just going to tape this, making sure that I want to make sure my thread goes down past the bottom. Okay? And we're going to tape it right here in the middle. Okay. Tape that well. I'm going to do one more. All right, and burnishing that down really well on that. Now, I'm not going to take this tape off. I'm going to leave that on. Now I'm going to bring this down. And remember this little piece that we made? It's going to go like this. So let me hold it like this. So if your little thing looks like a mountain like this with a little edge, this back edge is going to get glued right down here. So that, you see that? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so with it folded up, you're going to line this edge up. Sorry, you're going to line this edge right here up with the bottom of your card. Okay, hold that down. Let that be good and in place before we move forward. All right, now on this edge, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a piece of this score tape. And double-sided adhesive, double-sided tape, whatever you call this stuff. The brand that I was first introduced to was called Score Tape, so I tend to call it that. But any kind, the double-sided adhesive, double-sided tape, whatever. I'm going to burnish that really well. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, this gets pulled down, and it's going to attach on this piece of tape down here, but not yet. We need to decide where we want our bumblebee. So this one, I'm going to turn him face down, and I'm going to slide him under here and close my window. Now, the last time I made this, I felt like my bee was a little too low, and I think what happened is I turned it upside down, but that doesn't really matter. That we want to just make sure we have our bee where we want him. So I want him to be about right here. Okay. So I'm going to take another piece of double-sided adhesive. Well, not that one. Somehow I messed that up. Don't know what happened there. Okay. That way. Okay. So I'm going to put this double-sided adhesive on the back of this bumblebee, and I'm also going to put it on the back of his twin. All right. I'll show you what I've done here in just a second. So, okay, on both of these bumblebees, I have put double-sided adhesive, and all of these pieces will just slide out of the way. And I've got my thread. I'm going to open this back up. You got your thread down here, right here. You see that, my thread? This thread is going to get attached right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece of tape off, this piece of score tape that I added down here. I'm going to take that thread and pull it taut and add it right there so that it holds in place for me. Now I'm going to take this bumblebee, we'll slide him right under there where we looked at him and decided we wanted him. Go ahead and close. Yep, I think that's a pretty good spot. Maybe just a little lower. Not much lower. I got him too low before, so hopefully he's in a good spot. There we go. Now his twin, I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape from that. I'm holding this down with my finger because if I let go, my string is no longer going to be taut. And it's easier to do this if my string is taut. So you could just like take something heavy and lay on there. But it's fine with me to just hold it with my thumb. And now I'm going to line up our matching bee on top. Oh, it didn't flip up too far. Okay, now I'm going to add just a little bit of wiggle room glue on top of my score tape. And it's time to close the top flap. And if all things have gone well, it'll all line up Yeah, pretty good. Hold that down. And there we go. Okay, we have our little spinning element inside, and the only thing we need to do is to trim off this excess thread that's hanging out of the bottom. Okay? All right, so there we go. Ah, he's in a much better position than the first time. That's where I wanted him. Yeah. Okay, so now we just need to add our other pieces. For my 3 daisies, I'm going to add the glue to the front side of the leaves and to the back side of one corner of the petal, because I'm going to tuck it behind and then glue it to the side. Just like that. For the one on this corner, I'm going to put the glue on the opposite side, but I'm going to put it on the front of the leaf and on the back of that petal. Tuck it behind, and hold it in place. Okay, so it looks just like that. Now this one, I'm going to put the glue on the front and on both back sides of the petals, because it's going to glue to these other two. Put it right down inside, and we're going to glue him right there to the other two flowers. Sorry, I have to hold it upright to get my fingers in there. All right, so this is what we have so far. Okay. All right, so our 3 little bees that are colored together, I'm going to take my small pair of scissors and we're going to cut those apart. Okay. Okay, now for all of our remaining pieces, we want to put some score tape, or sorry, not score tape, foam tape on the back, sorry. We are almost finished. Alright, now we've got foam on all of these. We're just going to position them on our card. Going to put the Your Sweet As right up here at the top, centering that with our aperture. I'm going to take the honey and center it underneath our daisies. And now we're just going to position our bumblebees. If you wanted to, you could just leave it with the one spinner bumblebee, but I thought it looked cute with more bumblebees, so we're going to add some more. And these tiny ones, I decided I just was going to place those around the flowers. All right, there we go. I think anyone would be thrilled to receive this fun card. And before you put it in the envelope, you can twist that bee so that as soon as it opens, he'll be ready to spin. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this spinner table tent card and learning how to make that. I love how the ink blending looks back there inside our aperture. Such a pretty card, such a pretty background. All right, I have linked all these products below the video. We love it if you leave us comments and questions, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I will be back with you next Thursday. And if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go ahead and do that because I have a really fun project coming for you this month. So, all right, have a great week, and I look forward to crafting with you next Thursday. Bye-bye.